All right, that was obviously Stephen A. Smith on Colin Kaepernick, and I'm sure you've all seen the story. We didn't get to it yesterday that he is going to have a workout on Saturday at Zolgad. It's Danny Cunningham, Manny Hill producing, and Declan Goff is getting us on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch if you want to watch us. 651-646-8255. I'm going to start you off, Danny Cunningham, with the simplest question possible about Kaepernick related to this town. One, should the Vikings go to the workout that Kaepernick's going to have, the impromptu one in Atlanta that the league has set up? And two, do you see potential value in considering him for a roster spot on this team?
I do think that they should be in attendance on Saturday. I think that every team should be in attendance because maybe he doesn't fit in here or in New England or in Tennessee or in Jacksonville or wherever, but he might fit in somewhere. And I think that no matter what, even if he doesn't fit in with your organization, you should want to know what this guy's got because you might have to prepare for him at some point. You might have to prepare to go against him. So the more you can know about him, the better off you are as a franchise. I think you're not doing your due diligence if you're not in attendance there on Saturday. As simple as that. Whether you have an opening at the quarterback position or someone else on your schedule might. That's why I think that they should go. I don't know that he necessarily fits here. I don't know that the Vikings are going to have interest in him. But that's the way that I would look at it, is that they should be there for no other reason than to do their due diligence for themselves or if they have to prepare for him.
Do you think that he potentially, and I'm not saying as a starting quarterback, but if you were to sign him, depending on obviously his conditioning at this point, do you think that he could help a team as a backup in a league in which we now love gimmick plays, and you could definitely run some very intriguing plays with him? And here's my thing off of what Stephen A. said. I don't know if he's going to quote Stephen A., shut up completely.
Sure.
But I also don't think that there's any evidence that he's a bad guy.
No.
Like Antonio Brown, I wouldn't go near. I don't care how talented Antonio Brown might be. I think that he has the potential to cause real problems in a locker room and with a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Antonio Brown, if he comes to me tomorrow and says, hey, sign me, and I'm you are a phenomenal talent, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't potentially fracture my team.
I don't think put my organization at risk.
Exactly. I don't think Kaepernick does that. I think it causes you some controversy. It certainly would cause a quick barrage of media attention, but I also don't think he comes in and in 3 weeks you say, oh my gosh, what's he doing to our locker room? So with that being said, do you think that it's an intriguing prospect for a team, and let's say it's a good team, to put in different components to your offense that don't necessarily exist right now because of what Kaepernick could give you?
I do think so. I think that he's a guy that's talented enough to be in this league. There's no question. He's proved that already. He doesn't. He needs to prove what type of shape he's in now and what he can still do because, I mean, we haven't seen him since week 17 in 2016. It's been a long time since we've watched Colin Kaepernick play football.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's still that guy that he was then, there's no reason he shouldn't be in the NFL, Judd. He's talented enough to do it.
And teams hate distractions, but you're right. And the thing that I can't get my head around in relation to Kaepernick is this. He plays the one position at which ordinarily teams will sell their souls.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the toughest, if you take every pro sport that we follow closely, right?
Yeah.
This might be the toughest one position-wise to fill. As far as if you got a great one, you could be awesome. If you got a good one, you can be darn good. But how many teams are desperately scurrying to try and just find one? And so you would think that you might put up with the short-term burst of distraction and attention for the long-term gain of, well, now that's done. And now we've got what might be, I'm not saying he is for sure, I don't know, but what might be a legitimate quarterback to help your team.
Yeah, and how many franchises can we say that they've had a lot of the pieces, but they can't find the quarterback? What would we be saying about Chicago right now if they had a legitimate guy at quarterback under center? They don't. Trubisky stinks.
Yeah.
But if they had a good quarterback, they'd be a Super Bowl contender again. How many franchises have been searching for that quarterback for so long and just haven't been able to find it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the most important position in sports by far.
Mm-hmm. And there are how many guys right now in this league who are probably starting on a weekly basis right now who are either A, not better than Kaepernick, or B, they're much worse than Kaepernick, and they're getting chance. They said today, and I didn't know this, Dan Orlovsky got called by a team this year.
Yeah.
Dan Orlovsky got called by a team this year. So if you're that desperate, and here's my feeling if I'm the Vikings too. Kaepernick's going to be, and I get this, he's going to walk in the door, and for a week or so, it's going to be ESPN's going to show up continually. Fox is going to show up continually.
Sure.
I understand all that. But my feeling is this. If it's Antonio Brown, I say to myself, I can't do this because you're potentially a really bad guy and you'll poison things, and then I probably can't fix them.
Yeah.
But Kaepernick's a short-term burst distraction. So if I'm a good team, if I'm the Vikings, and I say to myself, okay, I can add, I don't know, let's say you can add 10 plays, 8 plays, something like that. Just different plays that right now you really can't run. And I've got Kubiak who can draw those plays up and Stefanski who can call those plays. I'm at least intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at least intrigued. And if the league is going to open the door for this guy to get back in, why not take a look? Why not me?
Yeah.
Why not me? And sign him for the rest of this year. If nobody else will, take him for the rest of this year. And then if he proves himself, that's great. He can go elsewhere since Kirk is going to be back here 2020. I just think there actually is a window of opportunity here to capitalize if you are a savvy, smart team, because I do think the Vikings locker room and culture, to use that term, is strong enough to absorb a guy who's really not a bad guy, but previously was just perceived by the league, by the president of the United States, by all of those people as some type of massive bad guy and or distraction.
Well, I mean, look at what New Orleans can do with Taysom Hill.
Yes.
That's exactly what you could do with Colin Kaepernick. That's the type of package that you could institute, whether you're the Vikings, whether you're somebody else. But you also probably can't tell me right now that Ryan Tannehill is a better starting quarterback than Colin Kaepernick would be. Ryan Tannehill's starting games for the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
You can't convince me he's better than Colin Kaepernick. I'm sorry.
Hell, look at the team the Vikings are playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
They're starting Brandon freaking Allen at quarterback.
One of the last teams that, if I'm not mistaken, actually did try to actively get Kaepernick, and Kaepernick wouldn't take the pay cut. Because didn't San Francisco and Denver back in 2016 or so have a trade worked out, or 17? I thought
they might have.
I thought they had a trade worked out, and the Broncos, which at the time, Elway and Kubiak, went to Kaepernick and said, will you take a pay cut on your guaranteed cash? And he said no.
Mm-hmm.
But that was at the very end. It didn't work.
Yeah.
But now he just wants to get back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is going to be a big negotiation debate. I think this is going to be, okay, I'll take that for now. That's fine. I need to prove myself again.
Yeah.
Because he has not played a game since
week 17, 2016.
Yeah, which again is absolutely remarkable when you consider the position.
Yeah.
Like if this guy played safety and I'd be like, okay, I'm not really surprised, right? Ray Rice. Ray Rice was the least surprising. It was so simple for the league to suspend him. The tape got out of what he had done, which was awful and brutal. And the league came back and said, you are basically suspended for life. And the reason why was he was an aging running back.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. Ultimately, nobody really cared.
Mm-hmm.
But
and what he did was actually bad compared to Colin Kaepernick.
Absolutely. But he was also a very easy guy to say, you are gone from our league. And everyone to say, yeah, the NFL, and they laid down the law. And we all saw through that and said, yeah, you kicked out a guy at a disposable position who's getting old. But yeah, you're right too, Danny. You're exactly right. Colin Kaepernick was controversial.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about anything that could be construed as there are far worse human beings playing actively in the National Football League today than Colin Kaepernick. You're right.
No, there's no question about it.
It's not. Yeah, it's
no question about that.
So I think if you're the Vikings, you show up, you at least take a look. But I also think a team like the Vikings, which appears to me, as far as Spielman goes, as far as the Wilfs go, as far as Zimmer goes, the other thing that I like about them is they're really pretty stable.
Yeah.
Like they've got problems on Sundays sometimes, but this franchise organizational, right? This franchise, which used to be as unstable, which used to be as unbalanced as you could possibly get now, has turned itself into a pretty impressive, stable team.
Yeah. And
so I think it's a team like that could absolutely say, oh, we'll look at you. Sure.
Completely agree.
Because if it's take a dumpster fire, let's take the Jets.
Okay.
They wouldn't do it probably, but the Jets. If the Jets do it, it's going to be just a gong show. And the Jets are going to goof it up.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets are going to do something wrong. The Jets always do. What's sad now, I'd probably say, and this was a heritage franchise at one time, was a great franchise, but now has definitely taken steps back. The Giants.
Yeah.
The Giants don't look like a good franchise right now. The Jets don't. Washington for sure does not.
Washington's terrible.
But
Washington might be the worst of them.
Yeah, exactly. But if you are the Vikings and you are that stable right now, you could actually say, and that's the thing too, is if you bring a guy like Kaepernick in, you can ease him in.
Yeah.
If you sign him, you just ease him in. You don't push it. He's not a starter. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to be like, okay, you've got to prove yourself. What you have to say is you're back in the league. You've got your foot back in the door, which is important for a purpose. And now you can take that next step, but we'll ease that transition.
Yeah.
I think it's intriguing.
I think it's a very intriguing thing. And I think he's a guy that has a spot in the NFL, Judd. I think that he does.
What spot do you guys think would make the most sense for him?
As I said, it has to be a stable one. So it probably has to be one with a current starting quarterback who's not going to be threatened. And I love the Saints comparison because the Saints, again, stable franchise, right? I think it's got to be a team that can go to Colin and say, we'll get you back in the door. We'll get you back practicing again. You're not going to start for us, but we will develop a package of plays for you, which, by the way, could help us a lot. Because if you put him into a position where, oh boy, by week 13 or 14, he's starting again, think about those teams. How's that going to work? I think those are dumpster fire teams.
So I think it could make sense in Green Bay. I think Green Bay could make a ton of sense.
Ooh, young head coach in LaFleur too.
Yeah.
He's a Wisconsin native too.
Yeah, he's from Milwaukee.
Okay. I like that. That's good. All the more, if I'm the Vikings, I sure don't want that.
Maybe the Rams. I don't know that Goff in that organization's stable enough, but I think that could add an interesting wrinkle with a fun young head coach.
Yeah, he'd come up with good plays for him.
And right now, Blake Bortles is their backup.
He actually played a couple snaps last week. It wasn't pretty. I saw them.
God.
Philadelphia.
You think? Okay, I'm borderline on them.
I think they're stable enough. And
I love your first two. The thing with Philadelphia is Peterson. I covered him when he was Favre's backup for the Packers, and I really liked him as a person, but I can't figure out his demeanor as a coach sometimes, There have been some podium sessions where it gets overly contentious, and it's Philadelphia.
Sure.
I love the Rams. I love the Packers. Those two are, and the Packers, you're right, the Packers are a great place.
It doesn't make as much sense right now because Jacoby Brissett's hurt, but Indianapolis.
Yeah. Frank Wright.
Maybe Buffalo. Buffalo's not super stable, but they've got a starting quarterback that they're committed to. They play a very easy schedule.
I think the pressure on that quarterback, though, might become too immense with Kaepernick behind him that it might get uncomfortable. And can
obviously New England's as stable as it gets.
Yeah. And the Patriots are the poster child for this, right? The Patriots love reclamation projects, and they're not afraid to jettison them as quickly as they brought them in.
I mean, we saw that earlier this year with Antonio Brown.
Here. Let's make this list again. So you've got Packers.
Yes.
Rams.
Patriots.
Yep. You said Eagles.
I did say the Eagles, yes.
And Buffalo, right?
Yes.
Manny, what were you going to say?
What about Houston? I mean, the head coach is kind of meh, but they've got their starting quarterback already.
That's not a bad one. Yep.
You could, I mean,
can you imagine some of the plays
similar?
Can you imagine some of the plays that they could run?
I don't know that that's stable enough with the coach. That's why I didn't bring them up.
Okay, I think your best one. I think if I was to rank the 6 that we just threw out there, I think the Packers might be my favorite.
I think it makes a ton of sense.
And by the way, I think the Vikings should be on this list. I think that I'm telling you, what about this franchise couldn't take this on?
What about Seattle?
That's a good one too. Because
Seattle was gonna bring him in for a workout, like a year or so ago, weren't they?
Something like that, yeah.
Or at least there was rumors of that.
All right. Packers are good. Packers are up there, I would say.
Seattle makes a lot of sense.
Rams, Patriots. I love the Patriots idea. That's a great one. Eagles, I say no. Bills, I say no. Texans, I'll say no. Seattle and the Vikings. I think those are 5 places because I definitely want him going to a place where there's no, unless my quarterback gets hurt, breaks his leg, You don't want him going to a team right now if he's going to sign where there's any possibility of the pressure of, can he start?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think Buffalo falls short.
That's fair.
Because I think Buffalo, that kid can't hit the broadside of a barn half the time.
I watched their game last week, and it's unbelievable. He's just not good. He's athletic. He can run.
He's not.
He's a tight end. He is a tight end. Josh Allen is a tight end.
Yeah. Well, and he's athletically gifted.
Yeah. There was a play.
The leap he made in their win here last year over, was that Anthony Barr that he leapt over? I mean, that was incredible, Danny.
There was a play where they took a shot deep last week against Cleveland, and whoever the wide receiver was had a step on whatever Brown's defensive back, and Josh Allen overthrew him by 10 yards. He can't. He's not accurate.
That's him. So I think if Kaepernick goes there, there's an immediate pressure there to say, oh boy, can he start?
Yeah, probably.
And also, too, the National Football League is okay, they're all questionable. But this whole thing of coming out on a Tuesday and putting together an impromptu workout for Kaepernick and calling his people and saying it's Saturday and them saying, why don't we make it on a Tuesday when, by the way, everybody else works out because teams are off, and them saying, oh, no, it's got to be. And then I believe they said, can we push it back on a Saturday? And they said, can't do that. What? Could this league try and make anything tougher for a guy who was, yes, the whole thing, I get it. It was politically charged and the sponsors didn't like it. But this is so obvious that they're trying to make this as difficult as they possibly can. And they are, for the most part, on a day-to-day basis, at least from a league standpoint, despicable.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, this takes despicable, I think, and actually ups the ante on despicable.
There are how many teams that could legitimately
go to this thing,
get there on Saturday?
Browns,
Pittsburgh, and whoever has a bye.
Yep. And in fact, I've got the list here of teams that are even going to send reps. And now they're telling the Kaepernick camp that the league won't tell them who's coming. The league won't tell them who's coming.
So there are 6 teams that theoretically should have no problem being there: Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Tennessee, the Giants, and the Seahawks.
And coaches for, according to the ESPN.com story posted this morning, coaches for the Dolphins, the Lions, the Falcons, the Buccaneers said they expected to have a representative at the Falcons practice facility on Saturday, which is where the Kaepernick workout's going to be held. In addition, John Elway told 9 News that the Broncos will be represented. A Washington spokesman said that organization is going to be there. The Cowboys and Cardinals also plan to be there. And right now, that's it. But the story that was published this morning also said that the league will not provide the Kaepernick camp with a list of executives and coaches who will attend.
This is all so fake, man.
It is, and they honestly take the
disingenuous.
Well, and how do you come up with this on a Tuesday? And the story that I saw yesterday now says that they actually tipped off reporters and said, we're going to have something for you on Tuesday. But they didn't tell the Kaepernick camp until after that.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably. But again, if I'm the Vikings, I'm at least going. I'm seeing what's what.
I think it makes too much sense.
And I trust my team enough to take this on. And the guy hasn't played since 2016, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you said, Danny. So, okay, at this point in time, if you sign him, it is going to be a whirlwind of activity for probably about a week. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. But beyond that,
you can deal with it.
Are sponsors still mad? Are fans still mad? Do you really, really, really care that Trump might tweet about it a couple times? Is that really going to keep you up nights? You're trying to win football games. Like, that's at some point in time, something that happened now basically 4 years back. You've got an opportunity here to maybe improve your football team, to introduce 8 offensive sets of packages that you can't do right now, that he's going to allow you to do, that could help you in a playoff game.
Yeah.
That you know that you can take him on because your team's strong enough to do so. Are you really going to say, yeah, but what if Trump tweets about it? Okay, he tweets about it. Too bad. That's it. But you could win a football game.
Yeah.
Now, in 2016,
you could be better.
It was charged. It was a charged political time as far as that went. I'm not excusing that, but clearly the league got so scared they ran the other way. Are you really going to keep doing that? And this whole workout that they have structured for Saturday does seem like such a sham.
It is.
That if I'm a team like the Vikings, I'm swooping in and saying, hey, you're opening the door. We're going to walk right through it.
It's a setup. They're not doing this for the betterment of Colin Kaepernick. They're doing this to make themselves feel better.
It's very self-serving.
I think that there's something that we don't know too. I think that there's something either in the negotiation that has gone on since Kaepernick took, I think, legal action against the league. I think there's something behind the scenes we definitely don't know. And the league is trying to get around what they agreed to as easy for them as possible. But if I'm a team, I'm going to walk right through that door. The people who are scared here, but by the way, is Goodell and the league.
Yes.
If I'm a team, if I can look, tell me this right now, Vikings fans. If Colin Kaepernick gets signed tomorrow, and I don't care what your political leanings are, if Colin Kaepernick signs tomorrow and in 2 weeks helps you win a football game, are you going to protest? Are you not going to buy a jersey? I'm not saying Kaepernick. I'm just saying a Stephon Diggs jersey.
Are you going to be happy? Are you going to not be happy if they win because Colin Kaepernick's on the field?
Are you going to burn your tickets and not go to Vikings games because of a guy who in, let's say, a month wins you a football game, which, by the way, could get you in the playoffs?
Yep.